Hey everybody, how's it going? Yeah, I just wanted to make a video about why I can't follow the MLS. As you can tell by my voice, I'm an American. So, I do think it's kind of a shame that I'm not able to follow the league of my own country. But, let me go ahead and start out and say this isn't a I hate MLS video or an MLS bashing video. I'm happy the league is doing well. I'm happy, attendances are up. People seem to care more, which means soccer in general is on the rise, and that's my ultimate goal for this country. It's my favorite sport. But really, so the reason I can't follow MLS is because of basically my exposure to the other European leagues around the world, and this leagues like the Premier League, the Bundesliga, Serie A. And this has nothing to do with the quality of play. This has nothing to do with the fact that, obviously the best players in the world are in Europe. And it's not that the MLS has bad players, but, it would be pretty foolish to think that they would have great players at this moment in time. But the reason that I have fallen in love with, leagues overseas is because I really appreciate the system that they operate in. And when I say that, there's really two key differences between the American, professional model and the European or world model in the way that the professional leagues operate. And that's one is the use of a single table in Europe and the world, and a lack of a playoff at the end of the season to see who the champion is. And then two is the use of promotion and relegation. In having a multi-tiered system within that country. So, and I don't think that I'm the only person in America who feels this way. I go to a university here, and I can't go a week without seeing someone wearing a Manchester United shirt, or AC Milan or Real Madrid or something like that. I never see MLS apparel ever. I don't think. I mean, it doesn't come to my mind. So, and I understand a lot of these people support these big clubs because the best players play for them, and they're going to win a lot of titles. But I don't think that that's the only reason. And I do think a lot of people in America can sympathize with the way I feel. So, anyway, I'm going to try to make this video somewhat short. If I wanted to, I could talk about this for half an hour, but I'm going to try to keep it under 10. So let me get to my first point, and that's the lack of playoffs. In most leagues around the world, except in America, and I've noticed a lot of Latin American countries use playoffs. But in most leagues around the world, there's a balanced schedule. Let's take England for example. There's a balanced schedule. There's 20 teams. Each team plays the other 19 two times. Everyone has the same schedule. And at the end, whoever has the most points is the champion. And the idea is that the idea behind that is everyone's played the same schedule. There's no need for a playoff at the end because after 38 matches, it should be pretty obvious who the best team is because that's the team who's going to have the most points. This past season, which ended about a week ago, Manchester City had the same amount of points as Manchester United, but they had a better goal difference. But anyway, they were the top of the table, and which was the game against Queen's Park Rangers was amazing, but that's a different story. But they were top of the table at the end of 38 matches, and they were the champion. And the idea is that they wouldn't need to do anything else to be champion. If the Premier League was operating in the American system, then, we'd be just about to start the playoffs with the top 8 teams in the Premier League just to see who the champion would be. And first of all, I think that's unfair to the team that finished first because, first of all, playoffs last only a fraction of the amount of time that a regular season lasts. The MLS last year, there were, I think, 18 teams, so everyone played 34 matches. And the LA Galaxy had the most points at the end of the season. This is the 2011 season. But they still have the playoffs, and the top 10 teams got in the playoffs. That's over half of the league. And you have teams that lose more games than they win, they're still, and the MLS is still saying, okay, yeah, you had a really mediocre season, but since this is America, this is the way that the leagues operate, and you don't have to be the best team to make the playoffs. And I think that's unfair to the team that finished first, because they're saying to them, it really doesn't matter that you finished first. Okay, you'll have home field advantage, I guess, in the playoffs, but in a higher seeding, but I really don't think that's important. You're still making that team play more games after they just worked their asses off throughout the entire season to have the best record, and I think that's very unfair. It's also sending a message out to the teams that didn't finish in first that it's okay to not be the best because you can still be the champion, and I don't think that's cool. So that's why I don't like the playoffs. Promotion and relegation is the other aspect that I love. I think it's awesome. The first reason I really like it is because it gives countries a multi-tiered system. In every city, in every town. And again, I'm going to use England as an example. And I'm doing this because I speak English, and most people that follow a foreign league in America follow the Premier League, probably because they speak English and it's very accessible. So I'll use England as an example. Every city and town seems to have a club. And it doesn't matter to a lot of these fans if they're in the top division. Why would someone support? I'm just going to give an example. Carlisle United. They don't care that they're never going to be in the top league or win the Premier League or anything. But there's something cool and I guess romantic that I really like about the opportunity to support your local club, no matter where you come from. In America, with the franchise system that our leagues operate in, I live in a medium-sized city in Florida, and in England, you can bet we would have a club. But in America, it's only the big markets, only the big cities that get clubs, and oh well, I guess. So I really like the variety of clubs all around the country, and being able to support your local club. I think it's a really neat thing. It's kind of like basketball or American football at the university level here in America. Also from a sporting standpoint, I think promotion and relegation is cool. In America, if you're at the bottom of the table by the end of the season, you get really complacent. No one goes to the games because it doesn't matter, because you're not playing for anything anymore. If you finished, let's go to the MLS again. If you finish 18th place compared to 14th place, it doesn't matter. The only difference is the lower you finish, you actually get a higher draft pick. And this is all in the name of parity, which, I understand a lot of people are into that, but I don't think that's right, but, whatever. In England, the difference between finishing 18th and 14th is huge because, if you do finish in the bottom three, there are going to be consequences. You're going to go down, your club's going to lose money, someone's going to take your spot from the second division. I think that's awesome. I mean, it isn't awesome for the teams that go down, but I think it's awesome because it gives meaning to the games at the bottom of the table. Clubs at the bottom, they still have something to play for at the end of the season. Fans are still going to go to the grounds. Grounds are still going to be sold out, unlike, for example, this isn't soccer, but I went to a Baltimore Orioles game, with like a month left in the season. This is a baseball team, if anyone doesn't follow baseball. This is a baseball team. This is a month left in the season. There's no relegation in baseball. There was no way they were going to make it to the playoffs or win anything. So the stadium's like a fourth of the way full. If there was relegation, they would be in the heat of a relegation battle. You can bet more people would be at the game, and the prospect of relegation forces owners to actually care about keeping their teams good instead of just making a profit off the team, because they don't care what place someone finishes in America, because they're still going to be making money off the clubs. It doesn't matter what place they come in, because there's no punishment for finishing last. And that's why I like promotion and relegation. There's not the same teams every single season. It's kind of cool to see the new teams coming up from the lower leagues. So yeah, I just wanted to make a short video. Those are the two reasons why I think the system that the European and the World Leagues operate in is superior to the American system. And I know that if the changes that I wanted were to be implemented in the MLS, they couldn't do them overnight. It would take a long time. But I'm not gonna hold my breath for that. I don't think that's ever gonna happen anyway. But anyway, as I said, I don't hate the MLS or anything. I'm glad that it's growing because it means soccer is growing in popularity in this country, and ultimately that's the thing that really matters. But anyway, I just want to get my thoughts out there. I know I'm not the only one in America that feels this way. If you have feedback, negative, positive, disagree, agree, whether you're American or foreign, you want to weigh in on this conversation, I think it's cool. I think we should have a conversation about this. Anyway, thanks for watching.